So, hello everyone, and welcome to Excited Nuclear channel. So, today we are going to see about file handling. Basically, what are file handling and what are the different operations that we can do on the file handling. So, here you can see we have different type of modes and meanings. So, ignoring that, first we will see that what are basically the method that how with which we can read the file. So, first of all, let's say if I created an instance. Basically, using an open method, we can do the file handling methods. Let's say I say demo file dot txt, and I want to read the file. So for the reading, you can say reading the file, we have a mode R here, which basically prompt us to the file reading. So when I try to run this program, so as you can see, we get an error, and that is that there is no such file and directory present at any location whatsoever, and that is because our file location is not basically present in any directory. So as you can see, in our root directory, there is no such you can say demo file, so that's why it is resulting in our error. So whenever you are working with file, ensure that the file is present in our base location. Now the next thing is that this time we are going to pass the file path here, and before closing the file, I will just a second, I will just print the file here and see what it is going to return us. So when I try to run it, as you can see, we get a generator object here, and this generator object basically prompt us that okay, this file is mm, first of all, let me just comment out everything that is basically returning us in terminal. Actually, this video is actually recorded before, but at that time my laptop have an issue with the microphone. That's why I'm re-recording it with the content present in it. So please ignore that. I hope you understand. So when I try to run this program, so as you can see, it is returning us a generator object, and that generator object suggests us that okay, we have read the file, and the file is basically encoded in the particular some you can say in memory, but we can't show you the some content. To show the content, what you must do is you must use something like this this read method, and this read method basically prompt the interpreter that okay, I understand that there is no file present, but can you please show me the okay, it is saying that okay, the file is basically encoded, but can you please show me the text behind it? So this kind of thing is basically done by the read statement. Now there is one more thing. Now what if you only want to read the hello world first? So if you want to read the hello world first, you can do is you can just put the read line statement here and read it, and as you can see, we get our hello world here. Now you must be thinking that okay, why is there an empty line here? Because when we are seeing our where is it? Okay, when we are seeing our file, actually it says okay, there is no space and you can say there is no empty line in it, but it's still showing us an empty line. Now to answer that question, let me take you to the next method, and that is read lines. Now when we are using the read lines method, what it is doing is it is giving us the list of all the text that is present in our you can say code. Now here you can see the first line is actually ending with the escape sequence character for new line basically, and this new line is what getting printed into the output. So with that in mind, we can just you can say uncommented. And also there is one more thing: whenever you are doing the file operation directly, you must use something like file.close here, because you don't want you can say unnecessary or unwanted changes in our you can say data. So that's why we must every time close the file. So let me just comment that too. Now, the next thing is, what is with method? What is with method? Now, this with method is, you can say, more cleaner. It is more cleaner and safer method for file operation. So this is something that you must understand, that as you can see, whenever we are doing some kind of you can say file operation, at last we have to do something like, okay, close this file. I am done with it. So this kind of thing is you can say more like a waste of time. So for that we just define a method that, okay, if we use a with method, everything is same in with method, by the way. As you can see, we are still using this open function, and open function is used here as it is. And but just rather than you can say explicitly assigning it to a variable, we are just creating it as an instance. And after creating an instance of the, you can say, file, we then use our you can say content is equal to file dot read, and then printing the contents. So this is what it is you can say working. Now let us, for the demo purpose, let me remove that you can say hello new line from here. So as you can see, we get the output hello world. Now the other thing is that when we also, when we try to, you can say, update some content here, what it is going to do is, first of all, let me just change the content of the file. Of course, it is returning us like this. So let's say reading some gibberish. Let me just put some gibberish here. So as you can see, I have put some, you can say, anything else in it in this file. And when I try to run this program, it runs and read us some you can say the gibberish that is written here actually. Now, one thing to see here is that whenever we are using the write function, or let me just show you again, append method. It is basically executing that. Okay, let me just comment it, and also comment. No, there is no need for comment here. Yeah. So as you can see, we have some gibberish in our you can say file, but then we use is the write function, and the write function basically we intend to write the hello world to the file. Now when I run this, of course, at first the gibberish is going to print because that is what we are asking the file to read. But when we go to file, it returns us some hello world. And why is that? Because the write function is just a function that removes everything from the file first, and then adds the new content that we want to add. Now, when I try to run it again, as you can see, we get the hello world two times. Or rather than that, if I put it here again and I run it, as you can see, the previously there was this you can say text here, but after you can say running the write function, we get the hello world, and our file got updated. So this is how the write function works. Basically, you have to be careful when we are using write function, because if you have an empty file, that is you can say that is something that you can use at that time. But I will say, if you want to, you can say, extend the content of you can say original file. So for that we have an append method, and append method basically adds new lines or content to the file. And how is that? You can see here, we basically opens a file, and this time the mode becomes the append mode. And in the, you can say, we are going to use the same method, write method, and then put the content here. Now when I try to run this program, what it should do is it should basically add new line string to the file. When I try to run it, it adds a new line to the file. Then, but this time our old text is not getting deleted. So this is something that you must keep in mind. Now the next thing that came to our mind is that what is, you can say, cursor and the pointer basically. So when we are talking about cursors and pointers, so you must think that the cursor is something that points where we are reading. And in the simpler terms, you can say that let's say we have a file which have hundreds of lines, and we want to see that okay, which position our file is reading. So this is something that is basically represented by a cursor. Now, for the cursor, we are doing the same thing as you can say copying the upper code, basically opening a file and entering into the reading mode, and then we basically try to read this file and nothing else. Now, when I try to run this profile, as you can see, of course, we our file have this hello world string, but there is one more thing that, as you know, the with method closes the file, and how it closes the file is by sorry is by okay, here the cursor reaches the end of file. Now this is something that you must keep in mind. Whenever we read a file, our cursor started from zero index and it reaches the end of the file. So this is something that happens every time whenever you are, you can say, reading a file. Now what if I try to read the file second time? What is happening here is that we get a nothing. We get nothing, and because this time, because the cursor has already reached the end of the line, and that is why. And if I try to rerun it, as you can say, okay, we get a line 1. It says line 1, and the file. So as you can see, after running this program, we get a, you can say, empty line here, and that is because uh, our file, because the after reaching after the cursor reaches to the end of the file, there is nothing else to print to the console. That's why for basically to solve that issue, what we does is we use a seek method. What seek method does is it basically points the cursor to the specific location, and here the specific location is the 0th index, and when we try to run it, it basically returns us the whole file again. And now let's say if I randomly select a number from the file, let's say 4, and rerun it, as you can see, it basically reaches the 4th index and start reading the whole file. And this is what we can see in our output. So, that's all about the file handling that we need for the projects and everything. Now, I will say, I will recommend you to basically practice this and creating new file and binary mode. And let's meet in our next lecture. For now, thank you.